Hey podcaster, I'm Tim Wahlberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can sound like a pro and gain more podcast fans. Today's tip is warm up your guests. Anytime you have a chance to connect with your subject before you hit record is a good thing. But let's first be clear. This warm-up interview is different from a pre-interview. A pre-interview is something that happens when you're considering having someone on your show. Someone may approach you and want to be on your show, or you think someone may have good value for your audience, but you want to be sure. So you do a pre-interview. This is to find out whether your guest is worthy of your show.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're scum! We suck!
I'll save how to do a pre-interview properly for another episode. This episode is how you begin your recording session with your guests. You've already booked the time, they've committed to you, and you have them on the line, and you're ready to record. Here's what I do. I tell them I'm hitting record right away and that I want to check my levels. The first question I always ask is, what did you have for breakfast? It is a great icebreaker, even if they say, nothing, I don't eat breakfast. Ask them, has that always been the case? Or when is your first meal of the day? Or, well, then when do you get to eat eggs? You'd be surprised of how many different places this can go. It gets your guest talking. And this is the point of the warm-up interview. You're more relaxed. They're more relaxed. You get a sense of each other's mood or vibe. And at the same time, you're actually checking their levels for volume and quality, checking out how their mic works. It's also a good time to make any adjustments if you need to. You might want to move them to another room if there's too much of an echo. This is the time to make those adjustments because it'll save you headaches later when you're editing. You don't want to go too long with this warm-up conversation. Your guest is busy just like you, so keep this brief, but you do want to give them a sense of what to expect if you haven't already done this via email or pre-interview. Tell them how long your episode recording will be. Tell them if you'll be recording a separate intro and extra later, if that's what you do, and tell them when you expect to be publishing this episode. Next, give them a brief outline of what you'll be covering during the interview. Get specific if you really want to get deep on a certain topic and explore it more, and make sure that they're ready to get deep with you. This is when your guest may bring up something else that you hadn't intended on asking about. Go with it if you think your audience will like it, and write it down so it's in your show outline when you're recording. This is likely a good time to remind them that this is just a warm-up. It's not the main event. Tell them to save it for when you're officially on the record. This is usually a good sign that they're warmed up and ready to go. This is also when you may want to ask if something is on or off limits or they're uncomfortable talking about. If you find your guests swearing a lot in their responses and your show isn't about that, ask them to mind their language to save you some time editing because you're not really going to be able to use all those swear words. Also, find out the best website or social channels to share or promote. Having your guest correct you in the middle of your show because your info is out of date looks bad on both of you. This is also a really good time to remind your guest or tell them for the first time to prepare for your favorite question that you ask all of your guests. For example, which book or app would they recommend to your listener? Try not to put them on the spot for those sorts of things. Give them a heads up. They'll appreciate it. This warm-up interview also serves your guest. It can put them at ease with you, allowing them to open up and not feel threatened. And it gives them an idea of what to expect. Don't forget to ask them if they have any questions for you before you get started. They might ask you about your show, like how many listeners you have, or questions about your audience demographics. Now, because you've recorded this entire warm-up conversation, if you feel that you had a moment of gold that you'd like to include in your show or use as a promo or a teaser, make sure you get their permission to use it before you do. And this could be after you listen to it. Just send an MP3 asking if you can use it. Having a warm-up routine with your guests get you in the right headspace, allows your guests to feel more comfortable, and will ultimately make for a better episode. And I hope that's just the tip you need. One more benefit for doing a warm-up chat is that your episode will likely sound more cohesive and require less editing. You might also be able to use segments from that warm-up to replace any dropouts or unclear parts of your recording. See, have you ever done that before? Have you thought of ever doing that before if there's a mistake in your episode? This is what an experienced editor does. They're pros. That's what we do. And when I say we, I mean me. If you don't have an editor, and you might be considering getting one, good news, I can help and leave you just with the fun stuff. Check out my custom editing packages at podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Albert. See ya!